up, YouTube? Right now, what you're seeing is some pretty exclusive footage. It is some leveling footage of myself. First time I really level in leagues at this point. I feel like the character I was playing, I was going over the Winter Orb character yesterday, but I just wanted to try something else, something a little different. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to make an Eternity Shroud Frostblade character and eventually try to get number 1 PoE Ninja DPS by cheesing it with Glacial Hammer, Eternity Shroud, or something like that. And along the way, I hope that with this build diary, I could teach you guys how to min-max your damage on PoE Ninja, how to like inflate the numbers with like summon skitter bots and ailments effect. But basically, I also think that, so in my eyes, there's two kings of the clear skills. For casters, it's Winter Orb, and for melee, it's Frostblade. As you can see, the clear is pretty insane. Right now, I'm using a +1 chain Ewor's Mirage in this leveling montage. So I think I got to maps around in like 3 hours and 30 minutes, somewhere around there from scratch with almost all the lab and skill points done. So it's a very fast, enjoyable leveling experience. So if anyone wants to make a Berserker, or you can probably do this on a Raider too, I have included a document which I will be going over in a video of all the leveling uniques I use and the links that you should try to do. And right now my character is around like 20 to 30x investment probably, and it's actually a lot better than I anticipated it to be at this point. My character currently is level 74, and I did do some conquerors, like T16 conquerors already. So the single target that most people are afraid of with Frostblades is actually not too big of a problem, but I am fully shaped out. And what I mean by that is I have all shaper influence items. So it is quite a journey to actually make your gear. Like in this league, even though I know it's dead, I did not anticipate that I would pretty much be crafting all my items that I'm using on my body. I think I was only able to buy one piece of gear. Now, part of that is because I have to use all shaped items, but another part of that is because the league is just a little, how would you call it, RIP'd at the moment. But pretty much in this video, I wanted to go over my gear and build overview currently. It's level 75, and then I wanted to pretty much teach you guys how to level with Frostblades if you want to level and follow along this experience. If more people try this build out, I will be able to find more gear. You guys will be able to help each other out. So hopefully everyone tries it out who is interested in playing melee. I do believe that Frostblades is the fastest clear speed melee build. And let's take a look at PoE Ninja and why I'm actually rolling it. So let's bring up PoE Ninja. So if anyone here likes like maximum damage, let's look at number 1 DPS, Frost. Okay, it used to be Frostblades, right? This guy elemental hit, he's cheating somehow. I don't really know how, but let's get straight into the building gear overview. After careful consideration, I am going to be actually doing Eternity Shroud elemental hit. No, just kidding. We're not going to succumb to the dark side of elemental hit and the 10 Watcher's Eyes method. We're going to be legit and use Frostblades Eternity Shroud. So I'm going to go over the gear real fast, go over some of the build rationale, and talk about why it's good. So my character's name is Kobe Black Mamba, top DPS. Current damage is like 163k. And I think it maps around 800k with all the charges up and inspiration. So the way this character works is you use 2 foils. I'm going to dual wield them. Now the main reason you want to use the foils was shaped. You pretty much just craft these. I crafted both of these myself. Now look at this one. This one is just insane. So I used some essences, tier 1 deafening essences of contempt. I'll probably write it out in the document about how you can craft every single piece of gear. So this one, I pretty much just spammed some deafening essences, and I got dictators, and then I was able to use the Ashling Exalt with prefixes cannot be changed, and I was able to get the prefix unveil to get chosen. So you can see that this is dictators, essence flaring, and then the chosen that I did, and then I pretty much crafted on prefixes cannot be changed and did reforged speed, and I got attack speed. Then I crafted on crit quality, and then I exalted T1 accuracy. Overall, an insanely lucky craft. I don't really know how much the foil would actually be worth, but you can see I also crafted this one. This one here, I pretty much just spammed some essences, and they're like 10 chaos each, so it's not that expensive to buy. So make sure before you craft these, you also have a perfect Falso so that you can get around like 29 to 30%. So this one, I just spammed it, and then I ended up getting T1 attack speed, T1 crit chance, and flaring that I got. And then I just crafted on with an Exalt 126% fizz, and it also has some strength, so it's pretty good. I don't know how lucky I got. I did craft a few other ones, and it didn't seem to be too crazy, I think, these crafts. So hopefully, if you guys are looking into doing this, the weapons probably won't really exist. I mean, they will exist, but I feel like it's just such a huge waste of money to try to buy it, right? So let's look at how many is. So we needed this to be Shaper, which is the big problem. I mean, you could buy it, actually. So this one's like 2 exalts, but it has no crit chance. This one has attack speed, crit chance, and it's around the same, 365-ish. Not the best, but you can see you can go for a more budget option. These are probably worse because they're not 30% quality. This one is 30% quality, and this one actually has pen instead of crit chance. So you can see there's some other options if you don't want to craft it yourself. Now the helm I went with Berserk has increased buff effect. I'm not sure if that's the best. This is the only piece of gear I was able to buy from the PoE trade site, and it has Berserk effect and it has some life. So you have to make sure every single piece of your gear is Shaper so that you can trigger the bonus hits ignore enemy monster chaos resist if all equipped items are Shaper items. Now, in the end, this is kind of maybe a meme, and it might be better to just have some items that aren't Shaper, so you can use Headhunter if you have it. But right now, I just wanted to meme it fully and go with all shaped items. So this one here, I pretty much just bought it. You just want some life. You want to have nearby enemies have -9 cold res if possible, but I think this person just awaken orb some stuff together. I'm not even sure how he got this, honestly, because there's no actual Shaper mod on this item. So this actually has accuracy, and accuracy is pretty nice. You can see I'm actually at, I think I'm probably at I'm only at 96%. Oh, I don't really know. How am I at 96% with 2 T1 accuracy rolls? I'm not really sure. So now we move on to the amulet. The amulet is an abomination. So one of the best stats for Eternity Shroud is gain fizz as extra elemental damage, and especially cold. So I pretty much just used Scorn Essence and spammed it until I got. So I got the multi with the Scorn, and then I pretty much spammed it until I got any gain fizz as extra cold damage, and I just happened to get this. So I will probably try to fix it up later, but the anointment is Tribal Fury. So the anointment you use, this one strikes 1 additional nearby target. That means every time you attack with Frostblades, if there's a nearby target, you'll attack twice. So it's actually really good for clear and very, very important you have that. So this is a Eternity Shroud. Now the main important role here is that's gain 5% of elemental damage, and that's where all the magic happens. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we pretty much get 50% elemental damage and extra chaos damage. And then we also get ignores resist for all of the chaos damage, which is really good. So my rings, I pretty much just got some shaped rings. Again, I made these just by spamming Scorn Essences for multi. I just happened to get a lot of cold damage, flat cold here, which is really strong. Ideally, you want life and resist, because resists are actually kind of hard to come by, especially after playing Aura Stacker for so long. It's actually kind of annoying having to deal with resist, but I'm able to get my resist capped out. And this is the same thing. I wanted to get Assassin's Mark ring, so I pretty much just bought this ring. You could, if you have the ring, just use Harvest to reforge Caster until you get Assassin's Mark, but I was too impatient. I think I bought this ring for like 60 chaos or something. So all of my items are not too crazy expensive. There's no item that's out of this world. Now this was another item I crafted. I bought the base Spike Gloves Shaper. Or how much is this? Like, how much I bought it for? Like 50 chaos or so. And then I pretty much just spammed Greed Essences until I got some life and some resist. And then I crafted on the other resist. So pretty easy. Eventually, you might want to get strikes 2 additional enemies, or you want to get some culling or some frenzy charge on it. Not really sure. So now this one here, I crafted. I bought the Stygian base. Stygian base was actually only 2x when I bought it. I think I actually got a pretty good deal. But I bought the Stygian base. I pretty much just spammed the resist essence. I think it's Wrath or something. So pretty much every single piece of gear is crafted using essences. So this one, so I did use a lot of essences. I pretty much used this one on the belt until I saw some other resist, and I pretty much got really lucky that I got life. I pretty much just crafted on the life, and I have fire res, lightning res, and I have chaos res. And then this boots is a complete abomination. I pretty much could not find a cheap tailwind pair, and I didn't really want to spend any money on it, so I pretty much just bought. I just looked at my stash. I got a Cardinal Boots out of my inventory, and I spammed some Greed Essences on it, and this is what came out of it. expect this pair of boots to be replaced by tomorrow's video, or I'm trolling. Now for the flasks, we have the diamond flask, bottle fave. I wasn't using a bottle fave for a large portion of the time. You can just use like a onslaught flask or something. Then taste of hate, lion's roar, and then quicksilver flask. So let's take a look at the tree, right? So the tree, pretty much just going around getting all the sword nodes, the crit multi nodes, and then you pretty much get any of the efficient life nodes. I still haven't put in my Watcher's Eyes yet. You put in your 2 fight for survival jewels, which is the threshold jewel for Frostblades, which are actually incredibly important because they give you 15% pen, which is huge. And then it also gives you some cold damage and more projectile speed. So overall, extremely important you get these fight for survival jewels, as this allows us to not have to run cold pen and still be able to do decent damage. So pretty much here we take Wind Dancer. I can respec this point and probably have some more efficient pathing, but right now it's okay. Right now we're just in the stage of trying to level up the character by any means necessary and trying to live. So I do have Call to Arms. So this node allows us to use our Enduring Cry instantly, which acts as a pretty good heal and also gives us some endurance charges on fights. So basically, this character has a long ways to go, right? 75. In the end, it's a cluster jewel build. I am going to get this cluster jewel, which will be a blanketed snow, which gives you cold pen on chilled enemies. So let's see here. I have this title document, so I'm going to go over this. I have the leveling uniques you need for each piece of gear, and then the links you need, and then I try to figure out a way to get ailment immunity, but ailment immunity is pretty much something impossible to get, as they move the craft from the gloves and helm to the boots and shield, which is just like, why? I guess they just want to make our life as miserable as possible, par the course for GGG. But I do have an endgame pop, so you do see in the end, you do go down here, you get this cluster jewel here, and then obviously I need to get this node here because it's good efficiency. And pretty much the tree is pretty compact, honestly, and pretty point efficient, I think. And it does allow us to get as much damage as possible and take the efficient sword node. So I'll probably change the tree up a little bit, but overall current gear around like 30x or so. The sword is probably a bit of an outlier, but I did craft it myself, and I do believe that you can pretty much craft all your gear, buy the base, spam essences, use harvest to get caster for assassin's mark, and this build can pretty much do, I think, most of the content. I was able to do a Baran Conqueror, and I do think you could probably do Awakener even with this level of damage, even at level 75. I do have a lot of Chaos Rest somehow. I assume it's from the belt. But expect to see the damage go up a lot more. Now I'm going to talk about the leveling process and what you need to use. I'm going to include this document in the link below. And if you do enjoy it, leveling, and you want to try out some Frostblades. Now, Frostblades is an amazing skill. I can't stress it enough, right? I've played a lot of melee skills. Nothing really compares to the clear Frostblades, except the single target is awful, but if we can get the damage up to, let's see, what does this pop say? 72 mil, and then the Icy Blades hit 21 mil, around almost 100 mil, then yeah, it's going to be good, right? But it takes a long time to get there. So it's kind of like the Aura Stacker, a lot of room to grow. So that's why I'm trying it out. So Helm, you can use Skull Rim at level 1, Star Conja is level 60, Amulet, Karui War, level 5, then this gives you a lot of movement speed. So I pretty much have these amulets in my these tabs, so you can see I use them. It's the amulet. So if you want to level up, what I recommend is you buy all these items up, right? And then you pretty much put them in your tab, and then as you get to the right level, you equip it, and it'll be a really, really smooth leveling experience. You just need to prep it a little bit. And the same goes for all the gem links. What you do is you go to the Act 6 vendor on your other character, you buy all of the gem links I have listed here, and then you pretty much just set it inside this tab along with all the gear. And then as you level, you don't really need to worry about gear swaps too much. You have it all planned out, and you're just ready to go. And that's how you pretty much are able to level from like nothing to maps in like 3.5 hours or whatever. So Gold Rim Star Conja is really good. The Resto Salute gives you some resist as long as giving you move speed while on full life, which is actually very invaluable. Level 1s, we want to use 2 Red Beaks. Level 10s, we want to use 2 Princess Sabers. And at level 26, we can do Ewor's Mirage. When this allows us to get a chain and then additional projectile if we dual wield them. So you get the chain if it's in the main hand, and then additional projectile in the offhand. And these rings are actually pretty good. It's called Replica Tessalio Sign, and you can get them at level 20. And these gives you an insane amount of flat cold damage, and it actually carries you through a large chunk of the leveling. So I should put it here, level 20. A viewer actually showed me this, Replica Tessalio's Sign, right? So then gloves, Loctonios gives you some frenzy, power, endurance charges, and then Malagaros level 30 is shadows and dust. And I probably would stick with these the whole time. Oscarm are not really that needed. Level 8 you can use Meginor, and then you can move on to Prism Weave. And technically you can use your Headhunter if you have one whenever you can equip it. Flask you need level 18 for Taste of Hate and level 27 Lion's Roar. And then boots, you can pretty much stick with 7 League Steps, which gives you 50% movement speed right here. Or you can use Wanderlust, which is only 20%, but it gives you immune to freeze. 7 League Steps are a lot more expensive. For the rings, you want to start off with level 1 with Blackheart rings, and then level 20, you use the OP Cold Rings Replica Tessalio Sign. And then chest, of course, you want to use Tabula. If you can get a +1 Tabula, it's even better. You could probably switch it to the Skin of the Loyal if you have one that matches the colors. So now we move on to the link section. So in this section, you should just look at all of the, I pretty much broke it down to what you want to run. The movement skill, we're going to be using Whirling Blade, Life Tap, Fortify, and Faster Attack. So you pretty much just want to use the level 6 vendor with the Lily and then buy it all up. And it'll all be level 1 gems, so you don't need to worry about it. And totems, you will use like Vault, Ancestral War Chief, Empower. You don't need Empower. This is for late game, and Ancestral Protector. Because eventually, I think we can use 2 totems with some notable. And cast 1 damage setup is cast 1 damage, take it, Immortal Call, Frostbomb. Frostbomb helps lower the res of the mob. And then utility gems, we have Enduring Cry, which is instant cast because of Call to Arms, Blood Rage, which we use to get some attack speed, leech, and frenzy charges, and summon Ice Golem for some crit chance and accuracy. Or as we can run Summon Skitterbots, Hatred, Herald of Ice. You have to choose between Herald of Ice or Summon Skitterbots. You can also technically maybe run Herald of Purity, but if you don't have that much fizz damage on your weapon, it's not that recommended. Now the main skill where all the magic happens is Frostblade. You want to use Inspiration. You should probably not use critical damage early on. This is more of a late game link, so I would probably switch this out with Ruthless, which should help out your single target. Or you can use melee physical damage, I think. And then you want to use Multi-Strike, elemental damage with attacks, and added cold damage. And leveling, you can use Onslaught and Ancestral Call. It's very important to use Ancestral Call unless you can get this thing anointed, which is pretty expensive. So without this thing anointed, without this strike skills, target 1 additional nearby enemy, the skill kind of feels really scuffed. So you can see this one gives 2 additional nearby enemies. Now the problem with this is that you're losing out on a socket with damage, right? A gem link. So you can pretty much think of this as a chain. So if you can get like chain elsewhere as an anoint, then it's actually a lot better to not use Ancestral Call, which should help out your single target a lot. And that's pretty much it. So you can see the leveling process super simple. Make sure to just pre-buy all of the leveling uniques, or you might have these already saved up in your tab, and then pre-buy all of the gems, set it all along in a stash tab, and then you're ready to go. And I'm pretty sure as long as you know the layouts and you know what to do in terms of passive skills, you can get to maps in 4 hours, and maybe you could fulfill Chris's vision of having a great campaign like I did. Kind of.
I'll be a superhero. I never wanna hold you back. I wanna give you every chance to make it, to make it. I'm afraid if our love collides, you'll leave me alone tonight. 'Cause I'm changing and I'm breaking. Is this over? I'm scared to ask these questions, 'cause I know that you'll reject my love. Moving slow, And I'll stand against all enemies, your enemies. I'm afraid if I love collides, you'll leave me alone tonight. 'Cause I'm changing and I'm breaking, but I'll still be your superhero. I'll be your superhero.
So I hope everyone enjoyed some like little clips of how the character looks like while mapping at that level, which is only 75. So it can already clear T16s relatively comfortably. The single target is nothing to write home about, but we still have a long ways to go. Our crit chance is only 50%, and we have a lot of room to grow. Eventually, we'll have 100 mil. This is 85 mil, and this guy's thing is not even fully optimized. He has pretty good gear, but we can do better. And I do believe that Frostblades in the end, it's clear is just insane. Like I can just play a little bit of it here. Maybe I'm not dying, but this is pretty much. I mean, that was really low level here, but you can see everything is pretty good. Single target leaves much to be desired, but when you have that kind of clear, single target will sort itself out in the end, right? So we will be having plenty of fun in the coming days, trying to min-max it. It's kind of like the aura stacker, right? Character that you really need everything to come together, and then we will be completely owning the end game. So hopefully, if you guys wanted to play it, make sure to follow how I leveled the character. It is a breeze. Now the big problem is, like I said, that crafting the gear is kind of annoying, and you can't really buy all the pieces, shapes, and aesthetics, right? Aesthetics matter a lot for builds. Not only does Frostblade look cool, your character looks cool. Everything is glowing. It's in sync. It's in harmony, right? But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. In the coming days or next videos, I'll explain why Eternity Shroud actually does so much damage, and it does have to do with extra elemental as extra chaos. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do, and see you next time. Bye.